Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide W2 HD2 Northport and W265CG Tuscaloosa. A Town Square Media station. One man to beat, you could forget about it. Touchdown, Alabama. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. And you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to recruit you, and I learned that big back. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
3, 2, 1.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show fan page on Martin Houston Live on Facebook and on YouTube. It is also available on simulcast on Twitter at Martin Houston 35. This is a beautiful Tuesday morning, and it is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Encouraging you to be a part of the program at 205 342 9904, 205 342 9904. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business. We'll continue conversation from yesterday as we review the Alabama Southern Miss game and how it can be applied and learned and grown. The Bama team can grow from it and be a part of this week's game prep for the Ole Miss Rebels. Getting a question everywhere we go. Should we be worried about the Ole Miss Rebels? Should we be worried about the Ole Miss Rebels? Man, I'm still struggling with that. Even went to lunch with Ryan Fowler yesterday, and we talked about it. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's bias or if I'm just wrong, but I'm feeling a little different about the Alabama Ole Miss game, I think, than most. Do I have some concerns? Yes, and we need to talk about what are those concerns. Are they concerns that can be corrected? I hope so. I think so. I believe so. So I want to talk to you today. We can continue the conversation regarding good, bad, and ugly from yesterday. We'll ask DC Capstone Report what his good, bad, and ugly is. So we'll get his thoughts, what some of his takeaways were from the game, things that he may have seen that will either help and or hurt the Alabama Crimson Tide in this week's game. Also looking for the scores. Score prediction contest is back online this week. So give me your scores. Right now, we just have a couple of them in. We have two scores, 48-38. Man, I hope we don't give up 38 points. I'm okay. I'm not one of those that needs to see Alabama in a dogfight for, all 4 quarters. I'm okay if they take care of it by early in the third quarter. I'm okay if they take care of it by then. 48-38 is tight, even tighter than last year's game. And do you feel as comfortable that this year's offense can respond the way last year's offense responded? Do you feel going into this game, do you feel This is a great question, Joe. I'd like to get your thoughts on it. Going into 2021, after seeing last year's game, Lane Kiffin, I mean, really, I think shocked the Alabama defense. I don't know if it should have, but it did. Uh, so as you look at 2021, do you feel better about um, our defense's ability to stop the Ole Miss Rebels, or do you feel better about our offense's ability to continue to outscore um, the Ole Miss Rebels? Because one of those two has to happen this year if Alabama's going to win.
Well, I think that they have to work, simultaneously. I feel like the defense is going to be a little bit better. Not a ton better. I think it's gonna. I think Lane Kiffin just knows how to call offense and how to make things challenging on a defense. So I do think the defense is going to be better. Um, but I guess I don't have the same confidence as I do in last year's offense to score 63 points. I do think this year's offense is very good. But I don't know that we're going to have to score near as much this year, Martin. I'm kind of feeling like it won't be as high scoring as most people think.
Yeah, and so going into last year's game, it was a dogfight, and it was like our offense responded each and every time. This year's the conversation, to me, part of the conversation around this game has been not around this game, but for us at the beginning of the season, we felt like our defense was better. Okay, it was going to be better. We were even having conversations about, okay, this defense could be back in line with the defense like the 16 defense. I mean, like could be one of Nick Saban's better defenses. I mean, that was the type of conversation we were having before the season started. And then we played Miami, and we felt that way. And then we played Mercer, and we felt that way. Then we played Florida, and we left that game, and we didn't feel that way. And coming out of Southern Miss, even though Southern Miss didn't have much success, we still don't feel that way. I find it interesting that Alabama fans have talked about the Ole Miss defense being better this year. So if you look at this game, and I guess you asked the Alabama fans, do you feel like our defense is better, or which defense has gotten better? Ole Miss's has gotten better, while our offense, we're saying two things. Our defense has gotten better. I mean, Ole Miss's defense has gotten better, while our offense hasn't gotten as good. I mean, it's not quite as good. Okay, and then we say our defense, maybe a little bit better. Some people saying it's not any better, and then we're saying Ole Miss's offense is a lot better. Shouldn't that equal that Ole Miss should win this game? If Ole Miss offense is better, and Curtis Lewis is asking who is we. It's just some of the people I've talked to. You can listen to on the radio. You listen on even in the game Saturday, Curtis. They were saying that Ole Miss is better offensively. And I'm assuming you're saying who you're asking me the question when you chatted it up. Who is saying that Ole Miss offense is better? Joe, would you say that the narrative in the media has been that Ole Miss offense is better this year under Matt Corral and second year head coach?
Yeah, the 2020. Yeah, of course, I think that's fair.
Would you say that people have also said that their defense has improved?
I think some people would say that, but I don't know if I buy that given their level of competition with
Right.
Austin P, and who is it, Troy or someone?
Yeah, they had Louisville, Austin P, and Tulane. And I'm agreeing with you. I don't know that we know if either one is necessarily better.
but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
That's what I say about both sides. But I'm saying that's kind of what you've been hearing in the media, and a couple of people that have come up to me that have said, "Hey, listen, I'm worried about this game." I'm like, why? That's why I'm trying to figure out: should I be worried, Alabama fans? Should I be worried based on the fact that we lost 8, guys on our offense, and last year we were in a dogfight, and that we have a defense that we thought was better. All right, Curtis is on. Oh, I appreciate it. You calling in, Curtis. Go ahead and welcome Curtis Lewis into the program. Talk to me, Curtis. What's on your mind, sir?
Martin, who is this we you speak of?
I'm talking. When I say we, I'm talking about the media, the Alabama fans. If you read online, if you run into any Alabama fans, they're out here worried about Ole Miss.
Oh yeah. I think it's because of Lane Kiffin though. You got again Kiffin going up against Golden is not a. It doesn't give you a warm fuzzy feeling at all.
So,
But I don't think Ole Miss defense is any better than it was last year. He's ever played anybody to be able to say that.
right, and that's that. And now you're proving my point, because that's what I was listening to the media and they were talking about, man, how much better their defense is, and I'm going, how are you judging that? Like
Yeah, exactly.
we were judging. We judged, talking about when you asked the we. I'm saying Alabama fans. After our first 2 games, we judged our defense to be much better too, until somebody did exactly what they did last year. And to me, it's not even as much the Florida didn't score but 29 points, okay? But
Yeah.
but they did the same thing that hurt us last year. They ran the read option and the tight end was consistently open. And that's what hurt us last year. Anytime Ole Miss needed to play last year, what did they do? They went to the tight end. What did Florida do when they needed to play? So,
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
That's exactly right.
and so I'm not saying that Ole Miss is better. I'm saying that's if you listen to the talking heads, of course, and I understand that part of it is they want to make sure that this is a highly anticipated game.
Yeah.
so I get that. I understand that some of that talk, Curtis, from the talking heads, some of that we out there. I'm not talking about Alabama fans only. Talking about if you watched any games, especially this weekend, they were talking about this game, and every time they promoted it through the commercial on television, it was about Ole Miss being better and ready to come in here and spoil us.
Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of Alabama fans think that our defense will be better because we have so many returning faces on the defensive side of the ball. They assume that our offense will be a setback because we got so many guys that went to the NFL in the first round mainly, but also like with Cornbread. Cornbread was a very vital part of our offensive line. So I think that's why our folks thought we'd take a step back on the offensive side, and we have plus losing start, but I do think that our defense can get better, but it's got to be because the play calling gets better, the preparation gets better, and the whole ball of wax has got to get better. And we just don't see that now. We see that because of Florida coming in and doing to us, like you said, the same thing that Ole Miss does. It shows that one team offensive leader outsmarted our defensive leader again. And I just don't see that changing unless, of course, we just be able to outscore them. Now, I just don't think Ole Miss is going to do a whole lot as I get done last year. I don't think that's going to happen.
All
But
right.
I do think that one thing that made that you tell us down on our defense is we're not playing enough people. We're not playing enough people on our defensive side of the ball so that we don't get out there and get gassed again like we've done in one or two games already, and like we've done last year with Ole Miss. We're going to get gassed, and you just can't be a good defensive team if you're out there tired.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to come back there and get off the field and on third down and playing enough players so that you stay fresh. And Golden just he did get out there and pay a few extra people against his last game. So
Against the Mets,
he
okay.
did pay some extra people there. But again, where were these guys at 2 games ago? Why we didn't play them then? Why are we not playing them like we should be playing them throughout the season? So these guys are seasoned and fresh.
Yeah.
Not out there for a couple of throwaway downs. Like a long time, I think what we get.
Yeah, and I'm gonna. I got to run, but Curtis, I agree with you. I asked that question a lot. There's zero reason that Alabama is not the most experienced second and third team units in the country because of the way we beat people consistently. You would think our backups would have so many more reps. At key moments, and we don't get a lot of reps at key moments. And now I don't understand that philosophy offensively or defensively. Thanks, Curtis. We'll get back with you. And I'm glad to hear that you are not part of that we that thinks that 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 I was speaking to earlier. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. All right, coming back on the other side. We will catch up with DC Capstone Report. We got Robert from Mobile. We'll bring you in with DC on the other side. Thanks for being a part of the Martin Houston Show. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business. We're looking for you to give us a call right now at 205-342-9904.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no problems on the roadways on this Tuesday morning. Everything working good. Traffic steady on the interstate between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. If you see conditions, give us a call. 205-886-8886. Now's the time to save a bundle at Townsend Nissan with extra rebates, low finance rates. Go see them today. I'm Captain Ray.
Can I get a weight reading on the cat in exam 3? Zuri needs a new vet tech after their current one literally moved to a farm. But finding an ideal replacement takes some training. This is like herding cats. Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
So as you guys know, Mark's gone. The float artist at Fred's Floral just took off days before the parade. They need a replacement before business passes them by.
And who am I going to get to finish the float?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Another warm and dry day today with a good supply of sunshine. Tuscaloosa's high 87. Clear tonight, the low 67. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny, the high 89. And for Thursday, partially sunny, a small chance of a shower, the high 86. I'm James Spanel, the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 62 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Southmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at southmarkdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. It is Tuesday, so it's time for us to bring in DC Capstone Report. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show. How you doing, DC?
Doing good, Martin. How you this morning?
Doing well. Glad to have you on with us again. Let's go ahead. We got a caller that's been patiently waiting. Robert from Mobile, you're in with Martin Houston and DC with DC Capstone Report.
Hey guys.
Hey now.
Okay. I'm a part of those days you're talking about. Right? Put a name and a face to it. I want you to put a name to it. I'm a part of those days. Is Ole Miss not one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the SEC? Is that not true this year?
I don't know. But
8 other teams other than Alabama, Georgia, and maybe Florida that will beat Ole Miss on neutral site.
Arkansas.
Arkansas, that can happen.
You can.
Arkansas is a threat. For the top 3 or 4 or 5 teams in the SEC this season are a solid threat against anybody. You don't want to these teams are a threat. As long as they are a threat, you should be worried about a threat, shouldn't you?
Well,
I mean, you have to lose your mind over, but should you be concerned about it?
Well, I told you, I told you y'all have to tell me. I know that it is probably I think I respect Ole Miss, because they got us a couple times, and they beat my team went for homecoming one year, in like '88, and so, but it's just hard, man, to be where Alabama sits and looking and being having this concern, and it's Ole Miss. Maybe it's the helmet sticker that I'm looking at.
Is Matt Corral not one of the best 1 or 2 quarterbacks in all of college football right now?
Against Tulane and Louisville and Austin Peay.
And what he did to us last year. I mean, the guy ripped us last year. And I'm not convinced our defense is better this year than it was last year. So
yeah.
In the Florida game, I saw a lot of the same vulnerability.
But we have film to go back and see what he did last year now.
Well, Lane Kiffin, that doesn't mean anything with him. Whatever you think you see, he's like a magician. You think you see something, and he was like, "Oh, you didn't. That wasn't what you thought you saw."
But at least you make him. He has to come up with a whole new playbook, though. If you're talented enough to stop what he did last year.
Oh, I'm not sure they are.
Oh wow.
Last year, they didn't stop it. So it's this way. I suspect the same thing we saw last year with Ole Miss. We saw in the Florida game. Tight end breaking wide open. 3rd and long, you still got the middle wide open. And you let the quarterback and the running back at. That was the exact same thing. So where has the improvement been, Pete Golden, on it? I see it in your first legitimate, solid SEC game. So will I see an improvement this time? But so far, we haven't seen it yet. And so why should he even change his playbook when Pete Golden hasn't shown in the first SEC game that he can stop it yet?
DC?
Well, I hate to disagree with the caller, but I just feel like that Ole Miss really hasn't showed us this year exactly what they have. Now, they may come in here and do that, and I can tell you that's the first half. But I think everybody forgets about how Alabama's defense played in the everybody is really concerned about Ole Miss for a reason, because we played us so close last year over there. We had such a great offensive team. And I think what we're saying, what these Alabama fans are saying, and what the media is saying is their lack of confidence in our offense and lack of confidence in our defense being able to stop Ole Miss when we really don't know what Ole Miss has yet. So I'm on the wait and see attitude. If you catch me at halftime, I can tell you whether or not we should have been concerned about Ole Miss. But that's not the deal with this. We got to look at, hey, Ole Miss is coming into Bryant-Denny Stadium to play their first SEC game of the year. They're going to come into a hostile environment and have to play here, and we're putting so much pressure on Alabama. I think the pressure is on Ole Miss to come in here and duplicate what they did last year, and I don't believe they're going to be able to do it based on what they've showed us so far.
Well, the pressure's always on Alabama. I mean, but everybody else plays with house money against Alabama. You're expected to lose, so therefore you're free. You can do whatever you want, like Lane Kiffin did last year. Hey, I'm gonna lose big. I'm gonna go fourth down just about every fourth down, every time I get them going for because I'm expected to lose. So, and he's gonna come in here with that same attitude. I'm expected to lose, so I just go for it on fourth down and just keep on seeing like gas. But he said concerned. Like I said, I wasn't concerned about Mercer. I wasn't concerned about Southern Miss. Those are teams that you don't have concerns about. But the top 4 or 5 SEC teams, especially this season, they are all worthy of concern because they can all beat Alabama's team. Now, I believe no one can beat Alabama's A game. If the Dolphins team's on the A game, they're unbeatable. But we know that ain't always the case. And all these, especially SEC teams, all the Arkansas, the Ole Miss, and the Georgia, and Florida almost did it. If Alabama bring that speed game at the wrong time, then you can lose. Now again, Mercer and Southern Miss, they can't beat Alabama's speed game. That's what I don't get concerned about.
Let me ask you this, Robert. We started off that Florida game 21-3. How did that happen? DC, that's okay. So we were executing, right? Early on, and we were clearly dominant. So what changed in that game that allowed Florida to come back from 18? The exact same thing they did last year against Alabama after being down by 18. So that's 2 games in a row where Florida trailed Alabama by 18 and then made it a dogfight. Did both sides keep playing, or did both sides at the exact same time have a lapse in their performance? On both sides of the ball in both of those games, right?
I don't know. I don't think that Florida did a lapse in performance. I think Alabama was just playing their on defense, was playing their A game. They didn't have a lapse on defense. And I agree with you, same thing with this Florida game. I can name just those 2 plays. That if we make 2 plays, that game turns into. But those 2 plays are the fifth tackle on 3rd and long at the 1-yard line, and the third and 19, and they allowed them to get 18 yards off. You take away those 2 plays, that game's different.
Yeah, and so what?
I think what Mark's saying though is there's a lapse on Alabama's both sides. The offense had a lapse and the defense had a lapse.
At the
offense would set up our defense. Our defense failed based on that. So everybody's fussing about the defense, but if the offense that takes one of those 3 and outs and takes it in and punches it in for a touchdown, or one of those drop passes, those are all execution issues. Those aren't scheming, and those aren't coaching. Those are individual execution in a hostile environment for the offense and the defense. And if we don't have several of those penalties that we have because of noise, it makes a difference. So I think we had a poor performance, just like we did against Florida last year, on execution, not on scheming or game plan. And I think that can be fixed. And so I think that's the reason I feel like we give too much credit to Ole Miss before we even know what they have.
Robert, I'll give you. I was just saying I'll let you have closing thoughts. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what I'm afraid of. So we all came in here, really feeling like we may have had an old time Alabama defense or like a Georgia defense this year. Well, we don't quite know how great Georgia defense is because they haven't played offense yet. But like the old Alabama defense, when we beat over LSU and in LSU, and the offense stuck for 3.5 quarters, and we couldn't move the ball. But LSU couldn't score either, and they're playing really good in that game. So I'm kind of thinking that how many 3-0 win into that game, and we still managed to win it, and because LSU couldn't score on us. So I don't want us to need the offense to constantly keep scoring. But it looks like maybe this is a new era of football, so I guess that's just how it is now.
What? Robert, the point I was trying to make is we can't have a game where both teams tank 3 drives consecutively. Both sides of the ball. If either one of those sides of the ball, if offense goes down and doesn't have 3 and outs, it's 28 to 10 or 28 to 3 really when it starts if we score on that one. But then it was a chance to be 28 to 10, or whatever, but it ended up being, 21 to 10 and then the 17 or whatever it was, however they got back into the game. Then you take into account if we don't get the penalty at the 1 yard line, and we go ahead and score and get 7 instead of 4. So it's what it is. So but
I'll say this one last thing, and I'll hang up on you. I hang up. I'm not saying, of course, I'm not saying Alabama's the best team in college football. It's still in my opinion. And so I know we can win. I know we probably most likely will win. But Ole Miss is a threat, so I am concerned.
I agree they could be a threat. I'm not going to say they're a threat, and you better respect your opponent, and especially an opponent that's offensively dangerous, because your offense has to be on to beat them if your defense is off. So I acknowledge that, but it's just I think.
I agree with you on that as well. If Alabama doesn't play their A game and makes mistakes and has turnovers, then any team can beat us. That an SEC team can beat us. Like Ole Miss. I agree with you on that.
All right, thanks, Robert. Coming back on the other side, we'll continue with DC Capstone Report. Pat, hold on through the break. We'll get you on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no problems on the roadways on this Tuesday morning. Everything looking good. Traffic steady on the interstate between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. If you see conditions, give us a call. 205-886-8886. Now's the time to save a bundle at Townsend Nissan with extra rebates, low finance rates. Go see them today. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't know the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-324-4522. 800-324-4522. Don't wait. Call now. 800-324-4522. 800-324-4522.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. We have DC Capstone Report in with us. DC, tell our listeners where they can find you and what you got going on, sir.
Well, you can find us at DCCapstoneReport.com or the DC Capstone Report Facebook page. And you can also follow me on Twitter at DavidCott50. Back this week with a new podcast after a little hiatus because of my illness. And the podcast is up, and you can go to our website or go to the Facebook page and take a listen.
All right, that's DC Capstone Report. We'll talk with him about a couple things regarding last week, as well as get into this week against Ole Miss. But we have Pat, who's patiently waited through the break. Pat, you're on with DC Capstone Report, and the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning. First off, DC, I'm very happy that you're feeling a lot better, and we've missed you.
Thank you so much, man.
Anyway,
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. What is your feeling? And Martin T will ask the same question about: are we going to need to have at least 5 touchdown passes in order to win this ball game?
I don't know that we need to have 5 touchdown passes. I think we need to have probably 5 touchdowns in the ball game. I think that I believe we're going to be able to run the ball. I don't think when I've watched the film, I don't think Ole Miss has proven they can stop the run based on what I've seen. So I believe we're going to be able to run the ball and set up the pass. I think we have plenty of opportunities to throw touchdown passes. But I think 5 touchdowns would be a benchmark for us to win this game.
Well, do they have an offensive tackle and a tight end that can slow Mr. Anderson down? Or are we going to have is Coach and Coach Golden going to be able to come up with a defensive package that will allow an outside backer or something else to go in with him in order to free Anderson up?
Yeah, I think we're going to see an opportunity for Will Anderson in this game. And when I said on my podcast this week is I think we're going to see that Alabama is going to have a little more opportunity to focus on middle rushers with our defensive line. And I believe that's going to tie up so much of their offensive line that Will Anderson is going to have a really good opportunity to get some sacks. And by pressing up the middle, you'll keep Matt Corral in the pocket longer. With Will Anderson and Drew Sanders on the outside, I think they have an opportunity to keep it bottled up. So I think that kind of strategy going into the game, if you focus on your middle rushers, will eventually push him into Will Anderson's arms, and he'll have at least 2 or 3 sacks in this game.
Hey, Pat. This is Martin. Go ahead.
So what do you think, Martin?
Well, I was going to say, as far as the touchdown passes, I had kind of asked that question yesterday. How many touchdown passes will Bryce Young need to throw for Alabama to win. And I, just because of the way we played offense, I mean, I think we'll get into the 40s at this point. I could go up or come down a little bit. And I think out of that, I think if we score 7 times, I think Bryce Young will have 5. If we score 6 times, I think Bryce Young will throw 4. The key there is explosive plays, and I think we will have an opportunity because of what DC mentioned, the run game. I think, Pat, that we're going to have the opportunity to get some play action passes, and I think Jamison Williams and Mechie is going to stretch the field and put some stress on their defense. So that Alabama focused on that last week, and I think you saw a result of more explosive plays. And then the other question was regarding Will Anderson. When you have a defensive end, you have several options to play, Pat, and you can play where that guy kind of, and it could be outside linebacker / defensive end, in man on the line of scrimmage. A lot of these offenses make that guy be wrong, no matter what he does. Okay, so if you call a inside zone play, the quarterback is reading him. If he raises up and plays his space in his area, based on what he has going on outside or inside of him, he may have B gap, he may have C gap. If he stands, the quarterback literally can run 1 or 2 plays. If he feels like his running back can get in there, he'll run it. If he thinks he's fast enough, like a Lamar Jackson, he may pull it and keep it. Okay. If he goes outside to play outside contain, they're giving it to the running back, and the quarterback's going to carry out the fade. If he crashes down or takes steps down to take that away coming down the outside, if he steps down, then he's taking away the run play and the quarterback pulls it. That's why you see that quarterback ride it, and then pull it. Alabama changed the way they played it. They did one more thing, and they said, don't stand still, don't take steps down, don't go outside. Go attack the mesh point, okay? And the mesh point, Pat, is where the quarterback and the running back have that little handoff and the reading is going on. Well, what Alabama did last week against Southern Miss is just told Will Anderson, go blow up that point, okay? And as you saw, there were several times, even when he tackled the running back, he so messed up the timing with the quarterback. The quarterback had to pull it and almost step backwards before he could take off. I think that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to take and say, Will, you go, if you're unblocked because they're reading you like an option, you attack the mesh point. Don't attack the running back. Don't attack the quarterback. Attack the mesh point and disrupt that. And I think that's what they're going to do, DC.
I think you're exactly right. I think that gives him an opportunity to affect plays more. I think he affected the plays in the mid game more than people realize just by attacking that running back. Sometimes that running back is on his back, and the quarterback was backpedaling, not able to keep in the rhythm of the flow. I think we learned that against Florida. I think that was something we took away from the Florida game, that when we did that, we had much better chance to stop on defense than we did when we played one or the other.
I see that without doubt. And I think we lost Pat, but just responding to Pat's question. Oh, you still there? Did that make sense, Pat, what I was saying?
Yes, absolutely. It very, very, very well explained, and I appreciate that. And I think the listening audience that appreciate defense are going to be very happy with that answer too. And fellas, y'all have a blessed day, and DC continue on getting well. And hey, y'all stay away from that Delta variant because that darn thing can get us again, man.
All right. Thanks, Pat. All right, coming back on the other side, we're going to do some rapid fire questions with DC Capstone Report right here on the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic. From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no problems in the roadways on a good looking Tuesday morning. No wrecks, everything seems to be moving well. If you do see conditions, give us a call, 205-886-8886. Townsend Nissan is taking care of business. Extra rebates, low finance rates, and they need your trade. Go save a bundle today at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Tuesday morning. The drop in the number of COVID-19 cases across Alabama appears to be leveling off. For several days in a row, that number has hovered just under 9,000 over a 7-day period. Alabama Hospitals Association President Dr. Donald Williamson told a media briefing, while the overall numbers have gone down, they are still stressing hospitals with more severe cases, producing a higher death rate. Tuscaloosa County has produced 355 positive cases over the last week. I'm Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
It's Macy's one-day sale with incredible deals of the day. Priced so low, you don't need a savings pass. Like colorful swim separates for just $29.99. Refresh your shoe and sandal rotation with 30 to 50% savings. Save 40 to 60% on men's suits, shoes, basics, and more. And get the perfect summer accessory with 70% off fine jewelry. Friday and Saturday at Macy's one-day sale. Savings off sale prices, exclusions apply. Macy's Star Rewards offers benefits everyone can enjoy, no matter how they pay. Visit Macy's.com/Star Rewards.
Don't miss a play at the Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Your front row seat to all the action. Place bets on all professional and most college sports at the counter, kiosk, or on your phone. Then catch the game on one of our 20 big screens from the comfort of the newly remodeled Timeout Lounge. Plus, the PRR Sports app gives you access to live, in-play sports betting. Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Be more than a fan. Be a player. Must be 21. The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Well, welcome back into the Martin Houston Show, the Alabama One Insurance 2-minute warning. Alabama One Insurance, Alabama One Insurance.com will review your coverages, reduce your premium, and you can relax knowing that you're properly covered. Check us out at alabama1insurance.com or call us at 205-342-9904. I'm sorry, that would be the hotline here. 205-342-0112, 205-342-0112. Alabama One Insurance, your one source for all your insurance needs. Give us a call today. We'll be glad to serve you and help you in any way that we can. We're speaking with DC Capstone Report. You can find me at dccapstonereport.com. On Facebook at DC Capstone Report. Got that podcast up for this week's game. But DC, real quick, rapid fire for you. What's your good, bad, and ugly from this past week's game?
Well, I think our good was we played better on both sides of the ball, more consistency. I thought that was good. The bad is a good bad. Jameson Williamson showing his speed. That's a bad man right there. A lot better than we have been. I think we really may have been hiding a little bit. We're getting this stuff for our SEC schedule. And our ugly has to be the penalty still.
Yeah.
We got to clean up those penalties. JoJo Earl had 2 punt returns that put us in great field position, but far stupid penalties, and we got to clean those up.
All right. When you look at this week's game, what were your takeaways from last week that Alabama, other than the penalties, that you need to see or would like to see Alabama improve in?
Well, I think we were more consistent on our deep offense. We ran the ball better. I thought we play action pass. I think Bryce Young is much better when he play action passes than when he does the read option. I think he's a little slower on the read options, and we need to run the play action passes better. To do that, you got to have a better run game. I thought our offensive line gelled a little bit in this game, played better. We had a couple of plays on defense I thought really showed us how we could play going forward. And I would love to see us do a little more of getting people like Jamil Burrows and other defensive linemen into the rotation to give us more opportunity to be fresher in the later quarters of the game coming up. So I think overall that's my big takeaway.
You know, you and several other callers have said it. What do you think is going on at practice or whatever when you see guys when you see guys like Jamil Burrows come in and flash? What happens? What do you think they're seeing at practice, or they're not seeing at practice? I guess that these guys, you know, can't get into the rotation on a regular basis.
Has to be the same thing that Nick Saban has preached since he's been here at Alabama, and that is you got to maintain gap control. You can't make dumb mistakes. You got to make the right decisions. You got to be disciplined. So I think discipline has to be the issue. And I'm talking about discipline to stay within doing what your job and your gap. And I think that has been the issue we saw before with Christian Barmore and maybe a few other linemen early on. But I think that they're probably getting more reps in practice, and that's why they're getting better. They're doing better in practice, so they're playing more in the game.
Yeah, and I guess we could potentially see Toa go to the sideline potentially early in this game if he continues to do what they reported during the game. DC, that his problem isn't communication. His problem is over communicating and trying to overcompensate by trying to get guys in and not just do his job but do their job, and has gotten himself out of position, not doing his job. Do you see any scenario this week where potentially Jalen Moody comes in, even though he's not as talented, possibly a guy that makes us a little better on defense because of his discipline?
Possibly, but now I would look for another scenario. I don't know if you thought about this, Martin. I think you may look for a scenario where you have one linebacker, Christian Harris, on the field, and you bring in Malachi Moore and Brian Branch to cover the receivers, especially tight ends that may have just a little more speed out of the backfield.
Yeah, and that's definitely a possibility because whatever we did didn't work because Florida's tight end had success, Southern Miss tight end has had success, and there's times if you go back and watch film where Toa is actually communicating when the ball is being snapped, and so we will have to get that. We had a caller ask, "Can you ask about a Jai Hall? Played so good in the A-Day game, but we don't see him anymore." Have you heard anything? Because I thought about that Saturday when I saw Tayshaun Holden and Javon Baker making catches. I thought about a Jai Hall after what we saw in the spring game.
I think that what I've heard is consistency in performance. I think that it's another way of he plays much better than he practices. And Coach Saban doesn't trust someone that can't do the right things in practice every play consistently to put him on the field. I think that has to be the only thing. That he's got the talent, he's got the upside when he's in the game, but I think it's the way he practices to keep him on the sideline.
And I would tend to agree with that because we saw what he did in game-like situations, but it's a complete skill set. What we saw last week was blockers, wide receivers, not just catching passes, but making blocks, which extended runs last week. Is that potentially what we see with Trey Sanders because what we've seen on film and in play seems like he should be, getting as many reps as at least Roydell and maybe even Jace, but he clearly, if there is any doubt, there is a gap between the third running back and the fourth running back, which is Trey Sanders, unless he was hurt. There's clearly a gap there because he didn't get in the rotation when he was clearly the third back on the field available.
think Trey Sanders is still recovering and still coming along, and I think when you have something like that, that's been a traumatic body experience with his body where he was after that first game where he did play so well and did so good. I think he had a hard time recovering his body again, and so I think they're bringing him along slowly in that area. The one area that I think that they needed to work on is his blocking, and I believe that's been a concern from what I've been hearing. But I think maybe more it's a recovery of his body, being able to recover and play the next game.
Well, he could have been like the Ohio State guy who quit or walked off the field when he didn't get to play, but at least he was on the sideline. Maybe not as engaged as he could have been, but at least he didn't throw his gloves and his jersey into the stadium. So, like the Ohio State guy. DC, Alabama wins if what?
Alabama wins if they come out and play their A game. I mean, I think Alabama comes out and limits their penalties, limits their mistakes, and plays on offense and defense consistently in the game. I don't think they have to score every time they have the ball, but I think they have to establish the run, use some of the clock, and that limits Mississippi's opportunities to have the ball. If they run the ball, establish play action passing, mistake-free football, I think they win the game handily.
And Ole Miss wins if
Alabama comes out flat, makes mistakes, turnovers, and lets people run free down the middle of the field. I think Ole Miss will kill you if that happens.
All right. DC, what's your score? What you got for us, Alabama versus Ole Miss at home at Bryant-Denny?
I think Alabama wins. It's going to be Alabama's going to win it. I think they're going to be up early. Ole Miss will close the gap later in the game. It'll be 52-38 Alabama.
All right. How many passing yards you got for Bryce?
303 yards.
All right. That's DC Capstone Report. Tell them real quick one more time where they can find you, DC.
DCCapstoneReport.com, DC Capstone Report Facebook page, and David Cotton 50 on Twitter.
All right. Thanks, DC. We'll catch up with you next week. 52.
Great day and Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. DC saying 52-38 with 303. Virgil Williams adding his score, 48-35 with 415 passing for Bryce Young. You can get in on the score prediction. You can also be a part of the conversation because we'll be back here tomorrow at the same time right here on Tide 100.9 on the Martin Houston Show. Remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide and have a blessed day.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.